Okay, this page here, you see this section, it says uses of standard deviation. Now we know how to calculate the standard deviation. We have learned that. Now the question is, okay, so what? Now we know how to calculate the standard deviation, but why do we need to calculate that? For what reason? There are some reasons for doing it. So, this is the first thing, and most of these are for your information. You need to remember these. The standard deviation, it enables us to determine without a great deal of accuracy where the values of a frequency distribution are located in relation to the mean. It's a very difficult, confusing sentence. I agree with that. So what I am talking about here, now, let's say we have the standard deviation for state A, 1.55, right? Okay. What I'm saying is, that standard deviation we can utilize to figure out any of these values we have in the data set, and then try to find out by how much one of these values is lying in the data set from the mean. Is it like above the mean or below the mean? So we calculate that by using something which is called standard score. And the formula for standard score, if you look at the next page, that is x minus x bar divided by s. S is the standard deviation. So x minus x bar, meaning we are looking at, we'll be doing this, then divided it by the standard deviation. Now, if you look at this formula, we have calculated x bar at the very beginning, before we calculated these, right? So we already know the values of x bar, we know the values of standard deviation, we know that. Now what I am talking about is, let's say within this data set, you are looking at this value, this specific value 28. The question we are trying to answer is, if you look at that particular value of 28, then statistically speaking, what is the location of that value 28 in relation to the mean, which is 26? Meaning, statistically speaking, we have to determine that number, that value 28, is it lying above the mean or below the mean? If it is lying above the mean, then we always express that distance in terms of standard deviation. So we try to express that is like, by how many standard deviation that value 28 is lying above the mean or below the mean. So let's do that calculation. So let's say we will write, we are calculating the standard score of 28. So this is how we do it. This is the value. Remember this x, that's the value again, the same x we are using. So 28 minus x bar was 26, and standard deviation is let's use 1.5. Just one digit after the decimal point. So it will be 2 divided by 1.5, and how much we get? 1.33. 1.33. Okay, thank you. 1.33. Now, if you look at this value, we don't have any negative sign. What do you think? We don't have a negative sign.
There's no negative sign.
Because 28 is, the value is higher than the mean. So, Once we calculate the standard score of 28, now statistically we can explain exact location of this value 28 compared to the mean. So what do we write? Once we are done writing it, this is exactly what we have to write. Did I write it here? Yeah. So this is exactly what we write. So we will write the value 28. Let me write it down somewhere. Here. The value 28 lies 1.3 standard deviations above the mean. That's how we write it. So now we are statistically explaining the exact location of the value 28 in terms of the mean. Let's look at this one, second one, 23. Okay, forget about 23. Let's look at this one, 24.